And hello, everyone. This is Michael Condon representing the TooMedToo Star Wars Network. We've got your fix. And this is the Holocron House. I believe this is session 6 of the Art of Skywalker, or the Art of the Rise of Skywalker, I should say. And joining me today, right now, we have none other than Rural Farm Boy. Hello, Anthony.
Evening, friends. What happening?
Depends on where you are. Anybody from our friends from across the pond decide to join in. It's evening for them, or night, I guess would be. But just kind of impromptu. I was doing last night, so I just decided to take the YouTube version and put it into the make it the podcast. I decided not to edit it, just to put it on there, just to get them up, because I was on episode like 4 or 5 and we're on 12 right now. And, it's a long process, like when I was talking with Raj the other day, he said that which usually ends up being about an hour and a half on the show, takes him like 3 to 4 hours to do. And with me,
he said that which usually ends up being about an hour care of that. Oh, you mean to upload it?
To upload it and to edit it and everything. Oh, just to edit it. That's not with the rendering and uploading. So I have to download it, like the one I'm doing right now is number 9, and that is 2 hours long. It took me 40 minutes to download it, and then I have to convert it from an MP4 to an MP3, and upload it, which is going to be, another hour or so, or whatever it is. But the editing of it, if basically it takes about 3 to 4 times as long for me anyways to edit something. Like Araj, it takes him twice as long, but with me I have a lot more spaces. The quality of my software isn't as good as his and everything, but so I put up, episode 6 was so long, I couldn't upload it at once to Anchor. I had to put it into 2 parts. So episode 6 is 2 parts. I got episode 7 up there and episode 8 up there. I'm going to put up 9 up there, and then I just have to do 10, 11, 12 to be caught up. Nobody listens to the podcast though, so everyone watches it on here, or you can put on YouTube and just listen to the sound too. You can do it double speed also, or I think YouTube lets you do it at like 1.2, 1.5 double. So the only reason I really did the podcast is just so that when I apply for a media badge, it's just not a YouTube channel, it's a podcast too. And it's not just a channel, it's a network. And I call it a network just because I have the Bacta Tank, the Septa Tank, Holocron House, Collecting with Kylo, Coach's Corner. So there's 5 different things I'm doing. The one that comes out every week is the Bacta Tank, and then the other ones are neither here nor there, kind of in between. But
you see, we got some new company in the chat room.
I do.
Yes, very welcome sight.
Jedi Fangirl is here. She actually commented on my post because, I'm going to bring somebody else in really quick.
Super.
Hello there.
Hello. Hi, guys. I wasn't sure if you could hear me. I was sitting here.
Oh, no, I couldn't hear you.
There she is.
I just saw you, though. It took me a minute, but you're giving me, okay, yeah. You sent me a message, but yeah. So really quick before we start this week's Septic Tank, instead of being about toys, is going to be Trivial Pursuit. And I don't know if you saw that, Anthony. I posted the picture of I don't even know which one it is. I have it in the other room right now. I'll go grab it real quick.
Not the toys,
I hope.
Yes, I saw.
Grab it.
I think that's what drew Miss. I think that's what drew Miss Cheryl here, because she said, "Ooh, I have that game, and I think I might want to find some kind of use for it." That could be us playing. You got questions?
Hi, Carlo Flores. Hi, Rez.
I don't feel like moving the camera right now, but yeah. So that's what it's going to be. It's the Black Series Trivial Pursuit one. And so so I figured
Miss Rachel.
I open it up to the Patreons first. So I have 5 Patreons.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hi,
they
Jedi fangirl. Sorry, she was saying hi.
Oh no, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, dude. It's all good here. They get the first choice. Then of course, Reaper Girl has a choice, and Jedi Fangirl was the next one to speak up. So what I'm figuring is it would be myself and 9 other people. That's how many we can fit into StreamYard. We can only get 6 on the screen at one time. So I'd have to switch out some people. But they'd still be in. They'd just be backstage. Switch out some people, and so that way we could have 10 people playing. If we end up only having 7 people playing, we can do 6 teams. One team can have 2, or we can do 3 teams of 2 and put Rural Farm Boy by himself because he's going to win. So whatever we need to do.
I think Rule should get to play around, but then I think we should do one game while we're playing with Rule, and then I think Rule should be like the designated answer, kind of like the Jeopardy person that's like judges. Do we accept that answer? Because I think he would be good at making the call on certain questionable, vague answers.
I'm your humble servant.
Well, I mean, we'll figure it out. We still got a day or two to iron it out, and a couple more of these things to work on it, and whatever we're gonna figure out, I guess. But yeah, that was kind of my idea, because I was like, well, I can do 6 people, and I said, well, wow, I don't know who that was.
That was my phone.
Oh, okay. I said, if depending on how many people we get, they're interested in it. But if it's a regular if it's just if the Patreon show up, there's 5 people right there. Chris hasn't been around too much. I don't know if I pissed him off, or if he's working or whatever it is.
No. Real life is really had him. We had a short little chit chat because I was kind of concerned after not seeing him for dang near a month. No, it's just real life really got in the way that he had to put a lot of Twitterverse, a lot of Star Wars things way on the back burner. He's doing good. We just got to wait for things to get itself sorted, and he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I'll play Trivial Pursuit any day of the week.
Okay. We got Earl Farm Boys confirmed. You're confirmed. We got a few other people that just need to confirm themselves.
Yep.
Kylo Custom is here, but
curious.
I'll talk.
Hey,
I'll talk to
Kind
him.
of curious.
Rez, everybody else.
Kind of curious, Miss Rachel. Do you have some or other manner of Star Wars trivia, be it a book or a game or some such?
I don't. I will say though that I have the fanboys version, or not the fanboys, the Family Guy version, where it's a trap. They actually did a version, I think it's an older version of Star Wars trivia, but they played the Trivial Pursuit on there. So I kind of sit there and try to guess before they answer. So I've got some vague knowledge of what could be in the box.
Okay, super.
All right, so we just need for the Patreons to confirm. We need Kylo from Kylo Customs, Kylo Ren Flores confirmed, and we need Mr. Rez to confirm. And I'll reach out to Chris and see what he's up to, since he hasn't been around, just to make sure that since he's a patron, he's got first pick. We got Rachel on there, so we'll have at least 5 on there, and then if Jedi Fangirl wants to be on there, that would be 6. Then we have room for 4 more that we find along the way.
What do the pieces look like, Michael? Because I want to know if there's a Leia piece. If there's a Leia piece, I call dibs.
I doubt it. They're usually just little round circles that you put the pies in. It's like a pie, and then you put the pieces in there for which one you.
Well, yeah, I know that,
order.
But on the one that I just mentioned, they actually had actual almost Monopoly looking little metal ones that you would sit in the pie and then put your chips around it.
Okay. I don't know. And I guess we'll find out Saturday.
You haven't opened it yet?
I did open it because when I was doing my trivia questions at the end of my history that I was doing, I had the book open because that's what I was getting my questions out of. But
So you've already seen the questions. That's cheating, sir. I call shenanigans.
I haven't seen all the questions. I only did 2 weeks, so I've seen 60 cards. That was 2 years ago. You think I remember anything from 2 years ago?
Mm.
No, I don't remember anything. It is Saturday night at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Because and
I just seen Michelle just ask that. Yep.
And it's going to be
So
instead of being on YouTube and Facebook like last time, and then I pull it off of there so nobody can watch it afterwards unless it goes onto the Patreon. Well, it goes on the Patreon page. Mm-hmm. It's going to go onto Twitch and onto YouTube.
Oh no.
I only have 4 people that follow me on Twitch, so you know.
No, I have a friend that does Twitch a lot, but all he does is like play video games. So it's kind of hard to sit and watch that. But
there's lots of folks use Twitch.
I can't sit and watch a game. If there's a video game being played, I want in. I don't want to sit there and watch you mess up. I want to be able to play.
All right.
So
is everybody ready to talk about some art? Art.
Surely am.
There we go.
Oh, the book. It's the book.
I guess I'll answer for everybody.
I've not looked at any of the Rise of Skywalker stuff. I've seen dozens of amazing like art pieces and stuff posted on Twitter by Anna Mendez, Jim Giroux. Like there's so many amazing artists out there. It's incredible. I actually started like a virtual Rilo art consortium and museum. So anytime I see something that I like, I'm like, we need to put that in the conservatory. We'll dedicate a whole wing to it. It looks nice.
Anthony, you watched
the
replay, or didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You watched the replay of the septic tank last week?
Oh God.
Or what was left over of it?
My playlist. It was in my playlist on Tuesday.
Okay,
you put it up. Yep.
Okay, because Kylo said that he can't get to it, but I don't know if he's using a different email address because I think that's the only difference.
No, I figured out what the problem is, and
I don't know, but I retweeted. I retweeted the one for this week that's coming up, the septic tank. I just warned everybody that your mind will be forever unclean.
Yes, it will be. I haven't even put that out. That was just kind of telling people what we're gonna do. But all right, so here we go.
I'll sort it out with a DM. That's pretty easy to. It's easier than what he's thinking. I'll help him out with it. I got it figured pretty quick. He will too.
Okay, this looks like the picture from what we were looking at yesterday.
I do want to ask Miss Rachel before we get started with this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask Miss Rachel before we get started with this. Do you understand what this book? What it's based on, what it's about?
No.
That we're going through? This is
all
the pre-production. This is the pre-production art before what they took to put together that story, that film. And some of it you'll see, if you remember the film, then you'll see some of these different things in here that you'll say, I remember seeing that in that story. But there's a ton of unused stuff they didn't use that you're going to see how it could progress through the story from beginning ideas to
I don't think anybody's going to ever be able to forget that film. I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to forget The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, there were awesome moments, but there were, everybody's got a point of view on it. But I mean, I love graphic art. Like that looks amazing.
This is like a 250-page sneak peek into Lucasfilm, what it took to put all this together through 2.5, 3 years of pre-production before they started actually filming.
Yeah, it was actually
put it together.
Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday's we did is pretty much a septic tank in itself, with the pictures and
oh Lord,
the way that the things were worded. I had to stop myself a bunch of times
So basically, it's just multiple hours of you two sitting there blushing.
I don't really blush, but yeah. But yeah, it was a bunch of stuff that wasn't even used. But all right, so let's get this bad boy going. So we're starting off on page 112.
I missed all of it. We're in the middle.
Well, you can go back and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You can go back and look and see Holocron.
They're about an hour and a half long. They're about an hour and a half long. Watch them on YouTube. Do it on double speed, because it's a lot of times where we're just kind of sitting there just chatting about whatever and not, the book or whatever. Or just sit there and you don't have to really listen to us. You can just sit there and listen to it on double speed and look at the pictures, and you can actually do it a little quicker then. But whatever you want to do, it's all good. I'm just saying you can get done in the afternoon if you do it on double speed.
At least give me a flick through it. That didn't sound right, dear Lord. Just you know what I mean. That didn't sound right.
All right. For those of you that haven't been joining us or watching, there you go. That's for you. That's for you right there.
Oh, that is awesome. Is that supposed to be the mirror cave?
Yeah.
Oh no, because that's Ray and Kylo.
Yeah, that's our Ben room, I want to say.
But a little more artwork.
Nice Mustafar.
It starts off with The Last Jedi. They put stuff in there.
Jacket. Go back to that jacket.
There's no going back. They start off with The Last Jedi because there was stuff they didn't want to put in the other book because they didn't want it to be spoilers. So then we went to costumes, and then we went to props.
Can I ask a question? I this has been bugging me. It may have already been answered at one point in time, but I haven't heard the answer. What is up with the Planet of the Apes reference in the guy that's fixing Kylo's helmet? Like, what's the deal with the monkey?
He is, and we did this when we were doing the visual dictionary.
Yep.
Which I have sitting right back there. And we come across that feller yesterday when we were going through some, I can't remember his knight's friend. He's a Sith alchemist, Miss Rachel. His name's Albrecht. He's like an unofficial part of the Knights of Ren. He travels with them.
So he's a Sith monkey.
He fixes their. Well, he's not a monkey because he's an alien.
He is a monkey. You look at him. He's a monkey. As soon as I sat there and saw that,
he fixes all of the Knights of Ren's gear and costumes and.
Not very good at his job. There was stuff falling off of those boys left and right.
Well, that's the thing, because they take them from people that they kill. They take and upgrade their equipment as they go. They could have nice brand new stuff, but they don't want it. They want to go and take it out. They go and kill somebody and they have a better helmet. They're going to take that better helmet or that better piece or better visor, because then it adds on to them. Like, instead of just being these shiny guys coming to kill you, it's like these warrior mongers or whatever, so it's the whole fear factor.
Shiny guys coming to kill you. That sounds like a herd of C-3POs with lightsabers.
That would be kind of scary.
I will kill you.
So in a roundabout way, for Miss Rachel's sake, we'll say yes, Albrecht is a space monkey. That work?
Yeah. Sure. All right, let's get started on this. So this one over here, it's just effigy number 27 by Luke Davis. So each one, there's a page of reading to do, and usually. Well, we lost everybody already because we were just talking. Usually it starts off, we get up to about 10 or 12 people, 13, 14, whatever it is. And then I start talking, it goes down to I start talking and reading, and it goes down to about 5 or 6. So we were already up there.
At least it's 5 or 6 that really want to be there.
Yeah. That's why we read, because, it's important to educate ourselves. Art makes you smart.
Fun with puns.
Otherwise, you're dumb.
Smarter.
Okay, so Aliens from 1,000 Worlds. Star Wars Productions holiday break concluded on Monday, January 8th, 2018, and the new year brought major shifts to the Star Wars Episode 9 story, as J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio had continued to write throughout December. 3 weeks of pickups and reshoots on Solo, a Star Wars story, which I watched last night, and Danielle really, really liked it. There was a couple things that she got confused about in the middle of it, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, back to the book.
Make Solo 2 happen.
Commenced on January 9th, including a shower scene between Han Solo and the Wookiee Chewbacca inside a stolen AT hauler at new heart-to-heart between the pair on the hauler's gantry. Gantry and Kira congregating with her Crimson Dawn Uber boss, the fearsome Maul. Also starting January 9th, the San Francisco-based Lucasfilm art department, led by Doug Chang, officially began pre-production design for Jon Favreau's Star Wars TV series, The Mandalorian, which would continue to work on full-time until early September 2018. Reconvening on January 9th and 12th, 3 art departments based in San Francisco, Santa Monica, and Pinewood Studios were brought up to speed on Trixie story changes. Trixie is the nickname or whatever that they gave to episode 9. For those of you that didn't know that little tidbit right there. And
Introduction name.
Sorry, I was just telling everybody that we're here. So come hang out.
We are here.
This is the place. Instead of this is the way, this is the place.
No, this is the way place. This is the Wayfinder will bring you to the place.
Oh, don't with the Wayfinders. That was the most ridiculous freaking writing trope ever.
We talked about Wayfinders the other day. No, I lost my spot.
Yes, we did.
The words are so small.
Rey encounters a large serpent. Wow, a large serpent, aggressive due to a wound that Rey would later be moved to the caves beneath the festival planet in the snowy city's catacombs. A haunted alien tells the assembled resistance about thousands upon thousands of Star Destroyers assembling in a desolate area of the galaxy. We are introduced to the newly named, previously 18-inch tall, now demoted to 9, Babu Frick, a member of an alien species who for generations cleaned the engines of Star Destroyers due to their diminutive size. Babu has a device, a nearly complete sabotage brick that can disable the First Order technology. For a while, we had the whole plot about how the weapon that could undo the First Order was something that had been discovered by a race of aliens that cleared the engines. Terry remembered.
Michael, I don't mean to interrupt you, but your camera's trying to autofocus, and it's making me seasick. There we go. Roger Dodger.
It does go out of whack. It does go out of whack every once in a little while. It'll catch up.
Well, if I had some more Patreons, I could get some better equipment. Just saying.
Dude, I gotta get money. If I have money, I promise I will. I'll click
that
on
wasn't
it.
That wasn't directed towards you. That was just the masses of everyone else.
Well, as soon as I'm able to do it, I will. And then whenever I do it, I'll tweet it out. Maybe that'll help. I'm trying to bring more people to you as quickly as I can.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Terry remembered, but that turned out to not be right for this movie. Akbar's son, relocated to the Resistance base, works with the Last Jedi's Resistance engineer, Rose Tico, to deploy the sabotage device. Kylo Ren's mask, shattered in The Last Jedi, has been repaired aboard his Star Destroyer. Darth Vader's burned mask disintegrates, cascading down the hallway to Kylo's shuttle and leading him to Coruscant. Rey leads their friends to the swamp planet in search of an elderly shipbuilder who has a component that they need for the sabotage device. The shipbuilder made regular visits to Jakku and Rey's youth to source parts for her starships and full swing.
All right.
A bounty hunter with connections to Poe's past recognizes him in the crowd and gives chase alongside First Order troopers. The pursuit culminates at the blind shipbuilder's home, where we find her retired but still tinkering with ships in her garage. Abrams describes the shipbuilder as a cat lady trailed everywhere by a pack of tiny droids. I seem to remember hearing something about that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, which would be Now This Is Podcasting or something similar to that. I
What's
think
that?
The cat lady they talked about.
Here. Okay.
I think somebody talked about it, and the only person I really listened to is
my attention when you hit that part about the sabotage device, and I want to say that was back in Holocron House number 4, I want to say, in this here book. We covered that, and I really couldn't place where that would have been or how it would have been used, and what you just went and read right there is still pre-production, kind of putting the script together and what not, and it kind of included at that point. I didn't understand what it was about when we talked about it, and you covered the pre-production art and pictures and such. I understand what it is now, even though it weren't used.
Yeah, well, we talked about it at some point.
We didn't spell it out then.
I talked about it at some point with Babu Frick doing it. I don't know if it was in this or something else.
It was in there.
Okay, and now we know that that they had over years put together this. I didn't know it was a brick. I just knew it was some kind of device, but this is the first time I think we're told that it's a brick, or that was the idea. But a night fog rolls in, giving the brutish alien bounty hunters enough cover to kidnap Poe. The shipbuilder donates her prized twin cockpit Spitfire so Rey, Finn, and the droids can rescue their friend. But if... Oh, okay, never mind. I read them there. Anyways, over the coming months, the rise of Skywalker, pre-production, the shipbuilder and Babu Frick's originally named Babu Zazi roles would combine, with Babu becoming the source information needed for our protagonists to continue their quests, the Spitfire becoming the Sith loyalist, Aki's freighter, another vessel, once journeyed to Jakku. Aki became the person from Rey's once journeyed. That's deja vu again. Aki becoming the person from Rey's past, and the little duckling droid transforming into Dio. The Spitfire lands in the ancient ruins of the bounty hunters' compound. Less than a month later, Abrams and Terrio would change bounty hunters to spice runners, but Poe's connection to them would remain the same. Terrio called, "We didn't want to say Poe was exactly a smuggler like Han, but obviously there's this whole spice runner mythology in Star Wars, and that set of skills would have been useful for the Resistance." Poe attempts to convince his former clan that he's fighting for a better cause and that they should join the Resistance. Meanwhile...
No, wait a minute. I got to stop you right there. Okay, you just said that they didn't want to connect Poe to being a smuggler or anything like that because they didn't want it to seem like they were trying to parallel Han. But if they didn't want to do that, then why did they have Poe do so many of Han's lines, like his iconic lines? I mean, it almost seems like they were kind of sort of trying to hint at that being a thing. But they also, like, the conflict between Zori and Poe in that one scene where we learn that he's a spice runner, like it's kind of it's very vague. They don't give you any real kind of definitive answer about, okay, he did do this, but he didn't do that. this is how he got into the resistance. I mean, it doesn't really give a whole lot of backstory as far as like what I've been able to research about like how he met Leia, and Leia made him the commander of the Black Squadron, and his family or any of that, like his parents being resistance or rebels. I mean, it's like you had a rich history to draw from, and you were just like, spice.
I took that line as they didn't want it to be. They didn't want it to be like. So, all right, perfect example. Last night we got done watching Solo, and I was like, "So, you know what happens now, right?" And she's like, "What?" And I was like, and I went into the whole story about like, you know, production being bad or marketing being bad, and she's like, "Why were so many people upset about this and this and this or whatever?" I said, "Because they're fucking idiots." But that's besides the point. But she was like, you know, so I was like, yeah, I was like, so he's going off to Tatooine to find Jabba the Hutt, and that's when he starts working for Jabba the Hutt, and he works for Jabba the Hutt then for 10 years or whatever. But he's got to dump his load and stop, Rachel. And then he that's how the whole trouble starts with him and Jabba. I said, but him and Jabba are good friends, but he's still employee thing going on there. But so Han's been a smuggler and a swindler his whole life.
Sorry, I'm listening. But...
Oh no, we're used to it with you on here.
I can't help it. Double entendre. I can't help it. At least it's not cut. I can't.
I don't even know what that means anymore. I can't understand you. I can't understand your laughter. So
before we get too far away, I want to answer Miss Rachel's question that she asked concerning Poe and his backstory and how he come to be part of the Resistance and was kind of introduced to Leia. Yes, ma'am. There's two stories that concern that, both found in the novels, and maybe I know you're not familiar with, so I'll kind of do this kind of short and quick. Okay. The first one, Michael, you remember the Before the Awakening book that came before TFA that had the story about Finn and story about Rey and the story about Poe. There's a story right that is where. Go ahead.
That's a YR book, I think. Or it was
and that story.
Yeah.
The story about Poe is how he comes to be part of Black Squadron, and the other place to be found is Bloodline. Also,
I've got that. I haven't read it yet.
How is just start. Okay, but that's where those are to be found. And yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff that you're wondering how it is, and there's the hookups right there. Really good stuff. And when you get around to it, you'll see good stuff.
Oh,
there we go.
Working on it.
Short and sweet.
But I think that was they didn't want to make Poe seem like he was a smuggler, like and a scoundrel like Han was for pretty much his entire life. His entire life, he was running games on the streets and whatever of Corellia. So his entire life, he's always been, doing whatever he had to do to survive. Where Poe wasn't like that at all. We already know that from the stories. He was well off, born into a decent family, had a forest tree in his backyard, all that good jazz. But so they, even though there's still those, he ran Spice for a little while. I mean, who hasn't sold cocaine to pay their bookie when they made some bad bets? I mean, that's just the way life goes sometimes.
Okay. Michael's lived a life.
I didn't say me personally. I'm just saying, things happen. You never know. I saw it in a movie once.
I hope Delilah's not listening to this, Michael.
I saw it in a movie once.
Delilah's sitting there in the background is going, oh, Daddy, why are you putting this out on the internet?
No, her and Chewie are snuggling underneath the covers. It's chilly right now. It's, like 45 degrees.
Roll, you be good. Be good, Roll.
It's like 45 degrees out. The air conditioner's in. The other window's open. I didn't close it last night. So, it's a little colder in here today than normal. But
I'm feeling good.
And it's past April 15th, so there's no heat on.
You've got somebody that I haven't seen before in the chat, Ross Sandbridge from Facebook.
Ross, how are you doing? Glad you could join us. We're talking
Here
a
and
little bit of
Oh.
art. Let's see, where was I? Poe attempts to convince his former clan that the shipbuilder. Kylo in the dark shipbuilder's garage, and Rey
You can't have much more to go.
in the daylight of the bounty hunter courtyard, and the major shift of the festival in late January with Dungham Yardling National Geoparks in Jiangsu Province, China, and the deserts of the Burin and Jordan mentioned as possible design inspirations. An old friend, alluded to earlier by Leia, Lando Calrissian, reunites with the Resistance and Space Convoy. Rey battles the Knights of Ren within the giant chunks of the second Death Star. On January 15th, Cardigan Studios, the former Royal Air Force station, comprised of two massive airship sheds, once scouted for the Star Destroyer horse charge. Cardington Shed 1 was the shooting location for Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope Yavin 4 Rebel Base, while Shed 2 served the same function on Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Joining the Trixie team in Pinewood Studio the same week were concept artist Marek Ocon, Nick Pugh, and the Force Awakens alumni Andre Woolen. After 17 years as a visual effects art director and matte painter, the Industrial Lights and Magic, including extensive work on Star Wars films from Revenge of the Sith to The Last Jedi, Yankin Deshunov left ILM on January 19th. So there we go. All right, and we got some peoples here.
Oh God.
We got a little elephant.
I ain't familiar with any of those names. Wow. Art.
Oh, those are cool little creatures. They almost look like a blending of Ewok and Jawa. Jawok. Ooh, what the heck? Okay, somebody needs Jenny Craig. That's all I'm going to say. Right hand side of the.
Jawok, nice.
I didn't even know you could see me on camera.
I'm
Nice.
talking about the. Yeah, there you go.
All right, there we go.
The big walking testicle.
The
Oh,
art.
what is that?
That's Kylo. We saw him yesterday.
This is still in relation to Pisana. Alrighty.
That's Kylo Customs. We saw him yesterday.
That's the tread speeder. That's the tread speeder driver that Lando's tread speeder. Whenever he says to head over, and then the door slides open, and he goes, "Okay," and then the door slides shut. That's who that is.
Oh Lord,
You
somebody's
remember
been
who I'm talking
hitting the. Oh, that's cute. That little like almost Fennec fox looking thing. Okay, it got creepier the more you zoomed in on it.
No, those are in the.
Do you remember him at the beginning?
Yeah,
You remember him at the
I remember
beginning? There's
seeing
two of
them
them. The
also
Falcon
in the
flies
Rise
to
of,
Pisana.
not in the Rise of Skywalker, in the frickin' Return of the Jedi. There's a creature that gets eaten by that big thing outside of Jabba's palace. That's what that looks like.
No, these are from the Rise of Skywalker.
I know. I'm just saying it looks
Mhm.
similar to what that creature was.
Similar.
Yeah, they could. Could definitely be. Let me try and see. They could definitely be a Saturday Night Talk part of the subject tank. And we got another thing over here that. There you go.
Yeah, we're still on Pisana. I wonder if that's concept of Ochi.
Well, let's see here. Up here, this thing, all right, we have Dragon 16 original. This is the original sketch for what would end up as the background droid in Jordan. At the time, it was just playing around with the ideas of large-scale droids, no specific location in mind, given...
Okay, number one, I like the color of that, but honestly, what in the heck with the spider legs? Like, where was that ever going to be functional?
No, that was just an idea. That was
I
something
get
that
that it's an idea,
It starts
but I
out as an
mean,
idea like this.
structurally, engineering wise, that's not very sound. It looks like a snail that has spider legs underneath its shell.
That's where I would go and say, don't put science in Star Wars. It's fantasy. Leave it
No, it's
all
fantasy, but
No
I mean,
science.
they still like the guy that did the sound and everything applied physics to it. That's science. And I mean, looking at some of these creatures, you got to know there's some really weird biology going on.
Oh yeah, they were doing acid yesterday.
Star Wars is weird.
They were doing dropping a bunch of acid when they were drawing some of the stuff yesterday. But let's see. Given the vegetation,
okay, so we've migrated from cocaine to acid. What else you got?
The underfoot of this droid was some kind of harvesting, sucking up whenever growing influences for this droid included ticks, mosquitoes, anteaters, and snail eyes.
Ticks.
Okay. And then down here we have Wizard 25 pack horse. Over here, this one right here that we showed you is the Dragon 26 original. This design was inspired by what I only know as the Bernie Clifton ostrich costume. Bernie Clifton is a British entertainer and comedian. The performer's legs are the inspiration for the legs the droid lent of the droid, and that's Lent Davies again. And up here we just have wizards. Those are all just wizards by Lent Davies. Okay, for these guys over here, we have just another wizard one. More wizards over here. Those are, I'm going to guess, will turn out to be the Aki-Aki. I love trying to find ways of pushing the form and hiding the performer. I squeeze Aiden Cook into the cages of Baba Joe on The Force Awakens, and this time it's hidden in the load of this long-necked alien shoulder. And that's just another wizard there.
You know what that top picture you just pointed at reminds me of? It reminds me of the creature from Hellboy 2, the Golden Army, the one with the big mechanical arm or hand that was a mace. The tusks look very similar in concept.
Okay.
It does. I mean, it's almost kind of like, I get where people take influences from things, but like that really does look quite close to the end result of that creature in that film. So I just have to wonder if they might have used the same concept artist for that as they did for the Rise of Skywalker.
A lot of them are I believe the same, or working for the same companies or whatever it is.
I'm gonna look that up. That's driving me insane. ILM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't speak to because I've never seen neither of the Hellboy movies, so I'm out on that one.
Well,
You've gotta watch them; they're good.
All of these pictures are Lunt Davies, or this one over here, the one that's Kylo Customs, is Wiltshire.
Says Colin Shuvler. I can't pronounce this poor guy's name. Shulver. Shuvler, I guess is how you pronounce it. He was the one that did the concept and scanning sculpts for Del Toro's Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.
I haven't seen his name anywhere in here. But I know Rachel likes this one, this guy over here. That's her favorite one.
But see, I mean, look, everybody was talking about that creature that we didn't get to see. The one Kylo was supposed to meet on Mustafar. Very similar.
Okay.
We talked about that yesterday.
That's actually the Fraggle Womp from Hellboy 2.
Yes, we did.
It's a Scottish troll.
So this one is Wizard 60 by Manzella. Over here we have Wizard 54 by Lunt Davies. And down here, this guy started off as a wizard, I think, because it says Wizard 74. These are some of the finest designers ever. As far as I'm concerned, I would take one of those mice home tomorrow. Way more than I would a porg or anything else. They are genius. We tried 3 times in Jordan to shoot the sequence of them watching TIE fighters coming through a valley, a little bit like a metal pecking bird on Jakku. Just very simple little creatures that play to the throwaway Star Wars moments, starting a sequence with something, then away you go. Scanlan. Well, Rural Farm Boy showing the book that we had.
See if I can do this. Visual dictionary. Right
Yep.
there. See him?
Aw.
I got a name. It's going to make Miss Rachel giggle. You ready?
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Okey pokey. Just reading it from the book. I'm just reading it from the book.
Okey pokey? Oh, Lord. All I can say is they must have broken. They must have broken into George's good stuff that day. Found the really good scotch in the back office.
Oh, look at it. Look at it for the cute little thing it is.
I think it's adorable. Like, I'd keep one as a pet. I mean, I'd rather have that than a porg. No shade to porgs, but I mean, they tore the lining of the Millennium Falcon up and then used it as nesting material. So I'm sorry, cute little furry animal versus ship destroying porg.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go for the furry animal.
Then you would agree with me that porgs are food.
Yes, chicken. Porg, it's what's for dinner.
Yep.
What about
Sorry,
Turbis?
Michael.
What about Turbis?
Now there's 2 of them.
Hey, that's. I'm not touching Turbis. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean.
No, apologies, David and the boys, but he's still food.